Well, good morning. This is Hiro again. What we're going to do. This is a Foemina Juniper. This is the one I love so much because it pokes me and gives me a rash. Well, I'm also going to do a project that is not one of my favorites. That is, we're going to do this as a Jin. Jin is like when a tree is hit by a lightning and kills off top. Well, as a review, what is a Jin? Well, it's killing off parts of the tree, sort of representing maybe a lightning strike or something like that. Typically, they start off on the top, right? Well, for some people, it's easy and they're kind of very good at it. I really have to kind of struggle at doing this art form. But being in the business, I had maybe half a dozen at one point, and I was down to 2, and now they're all gone. So as much as I'm going to have to really work at this, I'm going to have to create 1 or 2. Okay, so anyway, let's get started. So this is the Foemina Juniper in a very good health. Okay, I looked this over and it looks to me, at least right now, that's why we usually call these the tentative front. And this looks like it's the best side. This will change as we get going here. Okay, now I told you I did limited amount of Jin, considering that I probably had 40, 50,000 trees go by here. Half a dozen seems like a lot. But one of the things that we know for sure is don't make little Jin. If you're gonna do a Jin, do it. You know, like about a half. At this point, I'm just doing rough pruning just to see what I have. Oh, so, okay, this is the Foemina Juniper. I think it's one of the best for this style, but it hurts. And hopefully I don't go ouch in the middle of my presentation. That's why, you know, when I used to do the demo, I would never take this up on the stage. All kind of bad things could happen when it hurts. You know, these gloves, sometimes they'll punch right through. And, well, these were real popular in Southern California at one point, and are probably the most famous of the Japanese-American bonsai masters was John Naka, and he did a number of these, and that's why it still exists within the bonsai circle, but it's getting hard, if not impossible, to find this material in the regular nursery because it's really not a very attractive one as a natural landscape material, but it sure makes for a great bonsai. So what I'm looking for is that branch that will become the new leader. And like I was saying, it should be approximately halfway down. So somewhere in here, but I'm not sure if I'm finding a branch that could become an apex. Okay, I'm thinking maybe from here it becomes a new apex. Or maybe down here. I don't particularly like this angle. And this one, I wish there was a branch that was coming up like that. But, you know, remember, these grow like very fast. So I think I'm gonna go with here And then next year we'll develop new growth to become the new apex. Or I could change my style and just make it into a tree, just a branch. We'll see. But anyway, I'm going to start cleaning most of this up so we could start stripping the bark and essentially killing the nice top that is growing so healthy. I think that's one of the reasons why I'm not particularly fond of this style, is to why kill something that is growing so nice and healthy. But it is a very dramatic style, and also I'm in the business, so if I need it, I'll make it. Okay, so anyway, that's what I'm going to do next, is clean off the top and strip it. Well, this is hard work, painful work, but I thought I better show you some of the progress that I'm making. Long ways to go. I don't like how some of this is coming out. There's these little clump-like things that I need to take care of. So anyway, I'll get back to work and I'll let you check from time to time. Okay, you get this far. Let's say you're working on the Foemina Juniper and you decided, you know what, I don't like this, the way it's going to turn out as a gin. You could stop here and by spring, this thing will come right back. But I'm going to continue on and see if we could create something interesting out of this. But that gives you the option. These are so hardy that during the growing season, this will come right back. Okay, the next part will be to strip the bark. And if you happen to have your genuine bonsai gin tool, what we do is to hold and kind of twist to peel it off. Okay, how these are used, one holds in place and take this and twist, right? And then the bark peels off, usually. So you could do it this way, you could take a knife, a number of different ways. I think everybody has a slightly different technique. But like I said, you hold with one and twist with the other. It's just a lot of work though, if you ask me. Those of you that don't have the genuine bonsai ginning tool, you might have these handy. Kind of works the same way. One holds and the other one twists, right? These work better on the larger one. Of course, if you have a smaller version of this, you could do the same way. So the conclusion is there's a number of ways to do it. You just got to find what works for you. Or you could take your trusty knife and then just kind of carefully take all the bark off. Now, if you don't take enough off and you leave the cambium layer in there, sometime it'll start to heal back. So you're going to have to just take your time, right? See where there's a different color? That's where you need to be. So if you just took off this brown thing and left this white, then it could come back. Okay, high in the mountains, this will be dead. But as time goes on, these start to rot out. The smaller ones up here will die sooner, and then sort of have this left over. Well, this is where I had a lot of problem. How do you make this thing look like it kind of died naturally? You know, I tried using the shears and things like that, then it doesn't look natural. Maybe that's okay. So all this is very natural, right? I mean, the experience you had in the mountains where you saw these, you had to really think about that and try to recreate that situation that you saw up there. And so this is maybe okay, but I will continue to keep peeling back. Okay, see this? If I stop right now, there's we call this the lifeline right here. See this dark? And it kind of connects up here. So if we stop right here, you'll just repop up here. Also, even if there's no brown, see this white right here? That's still part of the bark. So yes, if I stop right here, most likely by next spring, this whole top will regrow again. So when you make the commitment to do a Jin, you have to do it. You know, this is just a matter of aesthetics, but I was talking to one of those electrical linemen that are familiar with what happens when a lightning strikes. And he says that when a lightning strikes, it goes into the ground. So to be that authentic, this should be killed off all the way down into the ground. Okay, so when I heard that, I looked, and sure enough, if it is a lightning strike, it does kill all the way down into the ground. Not the whole thing, just a line that runs through. But the other times that this happens is during a drought. When there is a drought, then it starts killing from the top. And then it comes down, and if it starts raining, it'll stop there and start to grow. Under very extreme drought, the whole tree could die. But those are some of the ways that you might see this. But you really have to go up to the mountains to actually see these. Also, if you're into reality, only the big tall ones get hit first, right? The little seedlings down below don't. So if you have a little tiny tree and try to put a Jin on it, that is, to me, ridiculous. See right in here, there's a bulge. I just want a nice little branch that will try to become a new apex, but there's a bulge there that is hindering my artistic expression here. So I'm gonna take it off. But bad things could happen. So I took this out. We got two possibilities. I'm gonna clean this up, but leave the two. I only want one, but it's in a vulnerable spot that if something happens like a dieback, we could be in trouble. So I'm gonna leave both of them till next year and then go ahead and clean this up. It looks like this one is pretty strong. This one probably will come off later, but when I get done, I'm just gonna tie it like this and then I'll rework it next year. But these are much too heavy for now, for this presentation, so I'm gonna work on these and get it down to very small branches, I think. Okay, so I'll go ahead and get that done and show you the conclusion. Okay, attractive looking tree. Well, if you hadn't seen the process, you'd probably say, what is this ugly thing? But there is a purpose. It'll probably take good 2 more years to make it presentable. Now, as this thing spins around, remember our original front is coming up now, but I'm not sure if that's gonna stay the front of the future. But anyway, looking back, and now, yeah, unless you really understood what I did, you wonder why it's so ugly looking now. But that's part of the process of making a major design change in bonsai. So This is the attempt at making a gin on a Foemina Juniper. I'm doing this in October, almost into November. It might have been better if we'd done it in spring, but there was sort of a demand or a request, so I'm doing it now. But anyway, this is Hiro saying goodbye. I'll see you again real soon in another chapter.